For this Tuesday. Again, I'll start again because I think we're kind of we're getting, I don't know, there's some, let's see here. Just making sure this is on. Probably getting on this. That's why this is live. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Transition Tuesdays. For this Tuesday, June 28th, 2022, I am your host, Russ Williams. I'm so glad you could be here today. I'm quite aware you could have been anywhere in this world today, ladies and gentlemen, and you decided to be here with me. And I appreciate that, and I don't take that for granted. And more importantly, I appreciate you. So welcome to Transition Tuesdays, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome in the second week of summer here in 2022. So glad you guys can make it today. We have an action-packed show once again. And before we start the show, I always like to state my intentions. And my intentions to give you the opportunity to laugh, smile, think, and engage in honest conversations about your life's transitions. And today I'm going to really stress honest conversations with us today. We're going to be discussing that in full length and throttle today. Okay? Because we're going to have a couple of topics to discuss, some touchy topics, but these have to be addressed, and we have to have some solutions as well. So we're going to talk about that, and I want people to chime in. Please chime in with your comments, because we're trying to get to the solutions of the problems. Because if we don't have any solutions of the problems, what's the point of us having conversation? But here on Transition Tuesdays, we always have honest conversations. Honest conversations. So let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about the U.S. Supreme Court rule on New York State gun laws, okay? This has just been mandated, okay? So New York leaders are condemning the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to knock down a century-old state law that placed restrictions on carrying a concealed gun outside of the home. Okay, this just went down here in New York City. And it's in New York City, New York State, in which you can have, due to licensing, you can now, that's coming up soon, in which you can carry a gun, a concealed gun, outside of your home. So just think about this, ladies and gentlemen. If you're at a sporting event, say you're going to Yankee Stadium, you can carry a concealed weapon as long as you have a permit for a license for it. Let's say if you're the Mets fan, you want to go to Citi Field, you can carry your concealed weapon as long as you have a license to do so. Say if you're a Knicks fan or Brooklyn Nets fan, you want to go to Madison Square Garden, you want to go to Barclays Center, you can carry your concealed gun as long as you have a license to do so. That's coming up in these coming months. So that's coming up there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you this is about to get crazy, I believe, and I'm going to go over that. We can get to a point in which this is the Wild Wild West. Then we can get to a point in which, if this is successful, this can carry on to other states in your area. If you don't live in New York City, don't you worry, because that could be carried over to your state. As far as California, Florida, what have you. Other states already have this already in place, but this can carry over. Now, I'm here to say this. And before I do, we got Felicia checking in from Interstate 95 South as she's on a road trip. Hey Felicia, welcome to Transition Tuesdays. Safe travels there as well. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you joined us here today. So this can get really dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not even talking about the guns. I'm talking about the actual having a license and how difficult this is going to be. And who this is going to affect. And I'm just going to say it point blank. This is going to affect black and brown people like no way. I mean, this is going to really affect black and brown people. Because, as you know, or as you should know, it's going to be like hell for black and brown people to get a license to carry a firearm. And some others are going to have the opportunity because they might find loopholes. They might have an opportunity in which they're not sharing the information that they have learned to receive licenses to carry a gun. Don't share that. Hoard that. Some groups might do that. and then make it easier for them to get a license to carry a firearm. Then you might have situations in which you had, the guy Zimmer. Remember Zimmer in Florida with Trayvon Martin? You're gonna be seeing a lot of, if this comes into fruition and bearing and fruits of his nature that it's intended to do, because, ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, as well as I know, this is done by design. This isn't a happenstance. Okay? What went down with the Supreme Court ruling on this one. Okay? This is all designed for a master plan here. Okay? We're going to keep it real. That's what we do. We keep it 100 here on Transition Tuesdays. Okay? This is a design for this to happen. Some groups, non-black and brown people, let's keep it real, let's keep it honest here. They're going to have, and they maybe find the loopholes to get licenses to carry a weapon. Then you're going to see like citizens arrests all throughout New York to start out with. You're going to find that in which you're going to be seeing people with citizens arrests. Like the Zimmer case and Trayvon Martin. But here's going to be the kicker is they're going to get away with this because they're going to have a license to fire to use that handgun or to wear that handgun on their person. And then there'll be odds, and the odds would be the person who is getting shot, as we know, black and brown people. And then again, the people who are going to say, well, I had my license to carry my gun. Now the person I just shot who was black and brown, where is your license? And obviously it's going to be tough for us black and brown people to get, because it's going to be tough, and that's the way the laws are going to be made for that. So people are really scared out there. People are really scared out there. And this could be disastrous. And like New York City is like the test tube, the incubator for this, to see if this works. And if it does work, it's going to spread out to other states that have this. We got Gina joining us from North Carolina. What's going on, Gina? Sister Cuz, welcome to Transition Tuesdays. Glad to have you. So this can get really dangerous. And again, I'm going to keep it real with you like I always do. It's going to be a struggle for black and brown people to get a license to carry a firearm. The law is going to be set up for that to be just the case. You have other groups of people who are scared out here. This gives them a chance to load up on ammunition. This gives them an out because they're going to get licensing at a much easier rate than brown and black people do. And all of that is just because of fear. Fearing that their race is no longer going to be relevant. That's the mindset of these people, which is crazy. So where are we going to start it? We're going to try it in New York State. How much sense does that make? But again, this is all planned. This is a plan. This is not happenstance, ladies and gentlemen. This did not happen by accident. Understand that. These things do not happen by accident. Really crazy. So we're going to see how it goes in New York City, New York State. And again, if it's successful, it's going to carry into other states that don't have it at this time. But again, I know the deal. You got to know the game, like Transition Army. The game is to load up, and the game is to get the licensing for it. And again, from some groups, it's going to be like hell trying to get that license. Others, it is not. And that will justify them doing what they do. So look out for this, because this can get crazy. This can get hairy. And where are we going to try it in New York State? I don't get it. I know the governor who's running for governor. And speaking of voting, I voted, and I make sure I got my sticker here to let everybody know I did vote. That's going to be important. We're going to talk about voting in a minute, and again, voting in the primary elections, that's so big. That's so big. I'm going to talk about that a little later on. But the current governor of New York, she's appalled. She's outraged. She's like, how can this happen here in New York State? How can this be a law rendered down by the Supreme Court to do this? It's all part of the end game, ladies and gentlemen. It's all part of the end game. We're just here to give you the facts here. We're just here to give you the facts. But I know this, since I live in New York City, okay, I know this. I know it's going to be very difficult for me, if I wanted to get a firearm, to get a license. I know I'm probably going to have to jump through hoops to do it. Black and brown people. Other groups are not going to have that situation. And it's set up to be just that. So stay tuned with that. And again, if you don't live in New York, you live in other states that don't have this, a license to carry a concealed weapon, it could be coming your way. Trust me on that. Okay? Trust me on that. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Do you think, is this a good idea? Am I tripping? Maybe I'm tripping. But is this a good idea? I mean, and how can the Supreme Court bring this down right now? Must be a reason why. Must be a reason why. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. You guys let me know if I'm tripping or not. Next, I want to talk about Roe versus Wade that just came down. Okay? So last week, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. And, it was a law that's been in effect over 50 years. Okay? So now, in certain states, abortions will now be illegal to do. So what I want to do is I composed of a list. There's a list of states where abortions are currently illegal or soon to be illegal based on this overturn by the U.S. Supreme Court. So these states are as following. So again, these are the list of states where abortions are currently illegal or soon to be illegal. Okay? You have Alabama. You have Arizona, Arkansas, Georgia, Idaho, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Okay, so these states, again, are soon to be like where abortions is currently illegal or soon to be illegal. Okay, all those states there that I just read. Now, there are 4 states that are likely to ban abortion based on a Supreme Court ruling that just came down this week. You got Florida, Indiana, Montana, and Nebraska. Okay, so, you see it across the country. Some people are, thrilled that this has come down. Some major people are disappointed, about it. You've seen people protesting throughout the country about it. Some pro, some con about it. But this is major. And this affects everybody. It affects, and who's it really going to affect? Really affect? Again, just like in the law with the guns, like I mentioned. Okay? But here's who the people who it affects. Again, this right here affects black and brown people. It affects poor white people. I'll go over a reason why that is. And it's going to affect men. Men as well. Okay? And this is crazy because, who are we as men? Those people who vote on these laws and like Supreme Court members, I think they need me personally, I think all men need to sit this one out on this verdict here. Who are men to tell how women are able to, to do what they want to do with their bodies? Who am I as a male to say that and render a decision on that? I think all the male Supreme Court should have sat this one out personally. That's just my take on that. Okay, but I digress. But I tell you, but this really affects everybody, black and brown people. You want to know why it affects black and brown people? Because let's say if you do want an abortion, okay, and you have to go out of state to do it. You know how many people, black and brown people, are going to have to fly to these places or maybe drive? You see the prices of gas nowadays? Driving, flying to it, you know, taking the trains, Amtrak. We just seen derailments, all type of stuff, you know. And they're not going to be going by themselves. They're going to have to go with somebody else. You got to stay in a hotel as well. You know how much money this can amass to for an abortion? You're talking about $800, $900 a pop. You know, black and brown people probably won't have this. You know, and who are the major people who are dying during abortions? The black women. I believe 70% of black women die during abortions when they're not handled correctly. 70% of black women. So that's how we're affected. And that's how they're affected. So they have to go to these states, drive, fly, what have you, and spend out even more money. And we're even talking about this, the amount of money is going to spend on an abortion. That affects black and brown people. You know, that affects poor white people as well. We're clumping everybody into this mix. Because if you are wealthy and if you have the means to do it, you can fly, get an abortion, be in and out that same day, you know, something like that. You might have the means like that. But poor white people won't have the opportunity to do this as well. So you are affected as well. And then the psyche on the males too. If you, let's say if the person has a relationship with a male or what have you, you know, then that suffers too. So you're affected. So everybody is affected during this ruling. Everybody is affected. And I think we're just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. We're just getting started with this as well. Because if it was Pence, I heard Mike Pence say he wants to ban abortion in all 50 states. All 50 states. Think about that. In which you will have nowhere to go if you wanted to have an abortion. If he had his way. Republicans had their way. Christian rights had their way. They want to ban it in all 50 states. Who's to say that might not happen? That can happen as well. Stay tuned for that. I think this is just the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, this is just the beginning. Just the beginning in terms of overruling items and things. We got Karen joining us from Maryland. What's going on, Karen? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. Welcome, welcome, welcome on the check-in. So, you know, this is just beginning for overturning laws. And again, let's take a look at some things that might be overturned in the future. In the near future, too. All right? The near future. Just like people thought Roe versus Wade would never be overturned. We are here now. It has been overturned. So who's to say they couldn't do this? And here's what they're working on next. Contraception. Okay, what about that? I just recently saw on TV just now, just before I came on, they were talking about how people are now trying to stock up on the contraceptive to take the abortion pill. Stock up on it. Get it now before they ban it. They might try to overturn those. How about same-sex marriages? Just went into effect by President Obama, right? Could be overturned by the Supreme Court that was just elected. By these 3 new members that was just elected by number 45. I'm going to talk about that as well. You think this is happenstance, all this stuff going down? I think not. I think not. Also, interracial marriages. Oh, before I talk about interracial marriages, so in terms of contraception, okay, again, ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, let's not be naive here. We just heard Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas is on record already mentioning this. He wants to ban contraception. Okay? He's already said this already. So plans are probably in the works already with it. So interracial marriages, they might overturn that. There was a time in which that was banned. You couldn't do that. It might go back to that. Everything is on the table. Everything is on the table. And again, you know, we talk about number 45, okay? And with this, with the Roe versus Wade, if you guys check this and you go back to, you know, just Google this. in 2016, when number 45 was going against Hillary Clinton in a debate. Okay? Number 45 clearly states if he's elected president, he's going to put on Supreme Court those conservatives to overturn Roe versus Wade. He said it. He said it. He mentioned it. Then, 2016, he mentioned that. He forewarned us. He told us what was the deal. We see with all this stuff this guy has done, his biggest legacy, because it's going to supersede all the nonsense that he's doing, and it continues to do. You're seeing this hearing stuff today. The guy's trying to grab steering wheels, so he wants to get to the event. Come on, man. But again, that's going to all be overlooked because his legacy, unfortunately, is going to be electing 3 Supreme Court justices, conservative ones, to overturn Roe versus Wade, a list of other things that they're going to do in the possible near future. So Gina says, what I like, stop talking about this, like don't concern them. First up, men on anything related to childbirth, abortion, anything in between. Sister Cuz Gina, I definitely agree with you on that. Okay, with concerns you said too. What else? You said I have a list. Post that list for me, Gina. What list you got there? But I agree with you too, like I just mentioned too. Yes, first thing, men, we cannot comment. We should sit these things out. Anything that has to do with, like Gina said, childbirth, abortion, or anything in between. Men, we should not be ruling on that. It is not our bodies. It's not our business. And we shouldn't be ruling on that. That's number one. So you take that out. So Gina, I agree with you. Post that list so I can read it. Okay? But it's crazy. So Trump, again, his biggest legacy, based on all the muck and stuff that he's done in the past as being a former president, again, his legacy, it will go down in history. He appointed 3 Supreme Court justices, conservative ones, okay, to overturn laws. And dig this too. You remember we had those hearings, those confirmation hearings? And those 3 Supreme Court justices, at the time they were auditioning to be it, but at the time they lied to the people in Congress. They lied and said, hey, Roe versus Wade, I'm not going to touch that. We're not going to overturn that. Bold-faced lie. Google it. Look at it. They lied about it. What did they do? They overturned it. Anything that had to do to get in office. Think about that. Think about that. And while you're thinking about that, I want to play you guys a clip. We're talking about Roe versus Wade, and we're talking about number 45. I want to play you a clip from a congresswoman. Okay, you probably heard this clip before, and I want to play this clip and I want to discuss it. Maybe you haven't heard this, but I want to play the audio for you on this, I'm gonna let you decide where we're going at and what this all means in the long run, the end game of all this. This ain't happenstance, y'all. This is real. Let me play this for you.
President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for life in the Supreme Court yesterday. President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
One more time, play it one more time, just in case you didn't hear it.
President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
Oh, okay. So this young lady is saying she misspoke. It was taken out of context. Yeah, okay. Again, What are we talking about here, guys? We're gonna keep it here. Honest conversation. That's what we do on Transition Tuesdays. You've heard it. You've heard that. Does that mean anything? Was that the slippage of the tongue? What's going on? Again, this isn't happenstance. These things happen for a reason. What's going on here? Proof is in the pudding. Okay? Some groups are scared. Some groups are trying to be armed. Some groups are just coming out just bold-faced telling us what the deal is. Especially in this Roe versus Wade. The overturn of it. You've heard this congresswoman saying that. Everything is interwoven here. Transition Army. Everything is, this isn't by, happenstance. This isn't by accident. I just want you to really understand that. We need to all comprehend that. We need to have the honest conversation about that. We need to have that. And we need to do that. That's what we do here. So you might be asking yourself, what are some solutions? Like, what can we do? What can be some solutions to what we're going through now in terms of like gun, or here in New York State, in terms of carrying having a license to carry a concealed weapon? Now Roe versus Wade, and how these states are going to be, outlawing abortions, and how it affects us and everything like that. There has to be solutions out there, and there is some. First one is to do this, what I did today. Okay, vote. Okay, we're going to hear this again ad nauseum. Vote, vote, vote. People think, my vote doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Well, I say that to those people who think that. Why do you think the vote is trying to be suppressed so hard? Why do you think that? There's a reason why. It's because the vote is the most powerful tool you have. When you vote people in offices, they have an opportunity to change laws like we saw just, or overturn laws. The power of the vote is intense and it's massive. The power of the vote. And I'll say as far as this too. The primary votes in which I voted today for governor and lieutenant governor, these are more important than the general elections because these are grassroots elections. You have to vote in these elections. The power of the vote. The vote is going to be trying to be suppressed for black and brown people. Again, see, it comes back to black and brown people again. Here we go. It comes back to that. You must vote. Okay? But here's going to be the deal, ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army. Here's the deal. Like we always do, and Gina says we can volunteer. Yes, that's another way. That's another solution. Absolutely. That's right. Be a part of the process. Hopefully you won't be, when you do volunteer in these polls, hopefully you won't be the case like it was in Georgia, in which the mom and the lady was harassed by number 45 and his staff. You hope it doesn't come down to that. But we see how powerful the vote can be. That's why the harassment takes place in those voting polls. Gina also says, show up for your community, kids. For your community, kids, elderly. Take the one thing you do best and figure out how to turn it into something amazing. I agree with you. I agree wholeheartedly, Gina. Show up for your community, for your kids and the elderly. Absolutely. Talk to them. Have conversations. Have these tough conversations about voting. But here's going to be the situation. And here's when I'm going to knock the Democrats here. I'm a Democrat, so I have the authority to knock my own party. And I'm going to do just that. We're going to go to the voting polls. We're going to come out nonstop. We know what's at stake. We're going to vote. We're going to vote, and we're going to vote hard. Midterms, general election, we're going to vote. We're going to vote to the highest power. We're going to vote, vote, vote. Right? So, it's going to be up to the Democrats to do your job. We voted you in the office. Don't be laid back. You got to be aggressive like the Republicans. Democrats are too soft on issues. Oh, we're laid back. Oh, no, this thing will be figured out. No, we're going to lay back. Republicans, no, we don't care. We're going to pounce on things. We're going to jump on things. Think about this. If the tables were turned with number 45, let's say if he was a Democrat and he did what he did with the insurrection and everything like that, do you think Republicans would just lay back and let this guy live and do what he did, saying there's no problem? No. Republicans will pounce on this guy. Would actually pounce on this guy. Democrats, different. No, we're going to play laid back. We're worried about what other people will think about this situation. Republicans are into the long game. They play to win. They don't play this to play the game. As Herm Edwards said, we play to play the game. You play to you play what you play you win. You play the game. You try to win. I think it was. I don't know. I forget what the quote was. But Republicans are into the long game. And they play to win. They play to win. Let's see what Gina says here. Let me just roll this up here. Let's see. Hold on, Gina. Keep it coming. Gina says, from talking to making threats, motivating to coaching. Show up. We have tons of talent. We just twiddling thumbs. That's right. Show up. Republicans, I mean Democrats. Gina, I'm assuming you're talking about Democrats, about them coming, motivating, and coaching. Show up. Or we're talking about Democrats in this case. Okay. Gina says, knock my guy, knock my guy, not cuz Dems out there playing. It's like the world got paintball guns from Amazon. We using water guns from Dollar Tree. Absolutely. Gina, you're so right. That's right. Democrats, we got water guns from Dollar Tree. Absolutely. We got the cheap water guns too. Republicans, they got the paintball guns, like you said. Man, oh man. Yup. Let's see. Gina says, hell nah. In my Miss Sophia voice. I'm talking to us like you can hear me. I can't hear you, but I feel you, though. More important, though, Gina, I feel you. Yeah, Democrats, we just can't be so soft about it. Okay, we're gonna elect you in the office. We're gonna go. We're gonna hit the, we're gonna hit the polls. We're gonna vote. We're gonna come out. We're gonna do our part. And I'll go as far as saying black women are gonna come out and do their part, which they always do to save us here. They're gonna come out. We're gonna form. We're gonna be out there. Now it's time for you Democrats to do your job. We elected you in office. Let's have a spine this time. Let's have a backbone. And let's take the fight to people. Because it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight in 2024. It's going to be a fight for midterm elections. It's going to be a fight. Now the Democrats that we elect, are you up for the fight? Are you up to put up your dukes? Just like these Republicans are. They have no problems doing that. Because if the tables would turn, they would pounce. Democrats, we need to do pouncing, and we need to pounce as well. Take a note for the Republicans, the people who we elect in office, the Democrats. Take a note from the Republicans. Gina says, my thoughts, they are securing the future of their kids, not telling our kids not to have kids, because the world is horrible. I'm tired. Yo ain't tired. Yeah. It goes just that deep, Gina, and everybody out there. Yep. They are telling to secure the future of their kids. And we telling our kids not to have kids. Come on. Can't do that. But it's all about the end game, ladies and gentlemen. These people are thinking years from now. Us as Democrats, and I'll count me in because I'm a Democrat. Democrats think, okay, what are we going to do next week? Republicans, what are we going to do 3 years from now? 2 years from now? What are we going to do? Got to have a spine, Democrats. We got to have a spine because we're going to come out. We're going to vote. Watch. You're going to see these stickers. We're going to flood it. We're going to have all these stickers. Everybody's going to post, they voted and everything on their social media, this and that and the third. We're going to take care of business like we always do as citizens of the United States. We're going to take care of business. Now it's up to the Democrats to not to be spineless and work and do the job that we elected them to do. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. Just getting a backbone. That's all it is. Democrats, we got to do this. We definitely got to do this. Because there is a fight. We are going to go there. And again, we're going to go to the polls. We're going to go there like our life's dependent on it. Because it does, ladies and gentlemen. It does depend on it. And we're going to go out there. We're going to do that. We're going to get the job done on our end. We got that covered. It's up to the Democrats that we vote into office to be more aggressive and take the lead like the Republicans do. And think about the end game. Not 5 minutes from now. What's going on? What can we do? Nuh-uh. We elected you to do a job. We need you to do your job. It's just that simple. Just that simple. So, ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, if we were able to make you laugh, smile, and think today, my good friends, you have accomplished something major today. So celebrate your victory. Celebrate your victory. As I play my theme music, let's go. Yes, sir. Woo. All right. Turn down a little bit. Trying to get too hype in here. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, thank you for watching Transition Tuesdays. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And if you haven't seen this show and past shows, you can always catch our YouTube channel, Transition Tuesdays. Check that out. And do me a favor, a huge favor for me. I don't ask for much. But when you're on there, on our Transition Tuesdays YouTube page, please like and subscribe before you leave, okay? Please make sure you do that. And you can always follow me if you haven't done so already. You can follow me on Instagram at Russ Will Transitions. That's Russ Will Transitions with an S. Okay? If you follow me, I'll follow you right back. Okay? That's no doubt about it. So, again, I want to give a shout out to Sweet Candy Cafe, which is our sponsor. It's the home of Southern Sweetness, located in Lumberton, North Carolina. So after the show, we're almost done. So after the show, please make sure you go to sweetcandycafe.com and order your confectionery goodies. They send out home and abroad. Summertime is a good time. Good time to get your candies, ladies and gentlemen. And again, Sweet Candy Cafe in November, they're going to be celebrating 10 years of excellence, a decade of excellence. We need to back those people. Back to people like Felicia Evans Long at Sweet Candy Cafe, who is the founder and owner of it. You know, back her on the strength of that, and the strength of you loving candy as well, like I do. Okay, so make sure you go to sweetcandycafe.com to order your confectionery goodies today. So Transition Army, as we say in parting, happy transitioning, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care, everybody. God bless.